Hi, Tabitha. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Cindy Paul Hill. Hello, hello. Everybody that's coming in, thank you so much for joining Finance and Favor. I'm your host, Melissa Williams. I'm going to give a few more moments to get our audience into the room. As you're coming in, I want you to speak to me. I want you to say something. Let me know that you're here. This is a Friday, and we're getting ready to talk finances and favor. Listen, while you're coming in, I want you to share and tag this. Let me know what city you're watching us from. Make sure you say something to me as you're coming in on Facebook and on YouTube. So excited to be with you on this Friday. We always try to bring to you quality information, wisdom that's going to help you to become a better investor, a better CEO, a better mother and husband, whatever we can do to bring you wisdom and knowledge. We always like to bring that knowledge to you. Listen, I want you to come on in, say something to me. Let me know that you are here. You are tuned in to Melissa Williams, and this is Finance and Favor. So glad to have my special guest with me today. Hey, Tabitha, good to see you. Listen, type in your city and let me know what city you're watching me from. All right. We're going to give you guys a little moment to get in here. It is 6:03. Sometimes the notifications go out a little slow. So we're going to give you a little time to type in your friends' information inside of the comment section. And that way they will know that we're getting ready to talk business. We're getting ready to talk money. And I believe we all can use a little bit more money. And while we're getting money, we want to build that credit. So listen, come on in. This is something that the people of God, we don't always like to talk about, because the truth of the matter is we're not quite where we want to be financially. But the Bible says, I pray above all that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prosper. So what sense does it make that you are praying all the time, you're spiritually boosting, and your money is still low? We got to get a balance into your life. So listen, come on, join me. I am Melissa Williams. We're getting ready to talk finance and favor with my special guest, Steve, the finance guy. I'll call him the guru, and you'll know why soon and very soon. So listen, go ahead and share and text. Hey, Tawana, good to see you. Thank you for watching from St. Louis. St. Louis, make sure you don't chime off. You want to stay on to the very end. This is going to be some vital information that's going to help you get to your next level. Listen, I need you to share and tag this. Hello, Thomas. Good to see you. Thank you. As you're coming in, do me a favor. Go ahead and say something to us. Say hello. Let me know what city you're watching me from. And then I want you to start hitting those hearts, which says to me, you are excited about the news that we're getting ready to give to you today. Hey, Roderick, so sorry. Good to have you today. Listen, I want you to share and tag this. Hi, Kia. Good to see you. I'm excited. I see you guys coming in. Hey, Anita Perry. I'm prophesying over you, Anita, even in the midst of the finance and favor conversation. I'm prophesying that your status is getting ready to change. So listen, if you need your status to change and you're waiting for your money to match your faith, you may want to stay tuned in today. This is going to be some prophetic information and practical teaching, and we're going to give you some real solutions to do what? Help you build your credit, restore your credit, and get some money in your pocket. You need to stay on here. Hi, Angel. Good to see you. I'm so excited when my good girlfriends come in. Hey, everybody. All right, let's see who's coming in. Hey, Angel. Good to see you. Anita, good to see you. Giovanna, good to see you. Hey guys, do me a favor. I want you to type in someone's name, about 5 people. Type their names into the comment section. Hey Vicky, my soror, good to see you today. Listen, I want you to type 5 people's name into this conversation. I'm telling you, you want to make sure if you are a business owner, if you are a person that wants to start your business, if you are a single mother, single father, but you have a dream and an idea, you need to know how to get some money to match your credit score. There's some people that we're always talking about the great things that we want to do, but guess what? It takes a great credit score and money to do some things. Yes, I believe we walk by faith and not by sight, but sometimes our faith needs to match our pockets. Now, I'm just saying, we got to get this thing together. Listen, I love you guys, and you guys know I'm always trying to bring you some vital information. Hi, Giovanna. Thank you for typing their names into the comment section for me. Hi, Tawana. Thank you so much. Hi, Giovanna. Thank you as well. Listen, everybody that's coming in, this is a very important conversation. While you are typing their names in, I want you to hit that share button about 5 or 10 times. 5 to 10 times. Just hit it to get everybody in the room. Normally, this is a spontaneous conversation, but everybody needs to be in here today. Hey, Tamika. Hello. Thank you, Angel, for typing their names in for me. Hello, Karen. God bless you. Hey, Tanya. God bless you. See you guys coming in. Listen, I believe that we are literally in the season where God is stretching us to do something different. And sometimes it causes us to watch this, take an internal look, a self-evaluation to what our money looks like. I am a firm believer in God, and I believe we walk by faith and not by sight. I also believe that God can do supernatural things, but there are some things that God requires us to do on ourselves. He's waiting for some of us just to tap into the richness that he's already blessed us with. And sometimes that takes us looking at our credit report. It takes us looking at our score. It takes us looking at what the world says is going to judge our credit score by. And so today I'm so excited to have my special guest. We've been doing this for a while now. And every time we do this, someone gives us a testimony that says they appreciate the information that we gave to them. Because why? Building your credit, repairing your credit is a 911. We're not going to take God out of the picture, but guess what? Some things is not left for God to do. It's left for us to do. I'm going to say the scripture again. The Bible says, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prosper. And I believe there are some things that God has placed in your hands for you to do this year. And it's going to take you having the right wisdom, the right information, and watch this. Favor is going to be on top of it. So guess what? You are listening to Favor and Finance. I am your host, Melissa Williams. I'm getting ready to bring my special guest in. I want to give you guys a shout out real quick before I do that. Hey, Felicia, good to see you. Tamika, thanks for typing those names in. Hey, Dion, great to see you. Stephanie, God bless you. So listen, I want you to do it one more time. Share and tag this. We're going to bring our guest in because I believe there's someone that's on here. You may have great credit, but maybe you need to talk about receiving loans and how do you do that. So we're going to talk about how to be disciplined. We're going to talk about bankruptcy, how you can remove bankruptcy off your credit. Chapter 7, all of these good things. Now, listen, I want to share this with you. While we are having this conversation, please feel free to ask us questions. We're going to be on here asking questions. If you type a question in the comment section, we're going to make sure that we get that question answered for you. All right. I'm getting ready to bring my guest in. I want you to share and tag this one more time. Sharon tag. Hey, Jennifer, good to see you. Hi, Sherry, good to see you. Akeisha Scott, I see you coming in. Alistair Edwards, great to see you. Listen, Alistair Edwards, mark your calendar. You're going to be with me next week. Just that I'll tell you that publicly so everybody will know you're going to be on here. All right, guys, listen, I'm ready to dive right into this conversation. We're going to bring Steve in. Hold on a second. Hello, the gurus,
hey,
the
what's going
finance
on?
guy.
What's up? What's up? How y'all doing?
How are you doing today?
Amazing. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Blessed.
How is the family doing?
Oh my goodness, we surviving. I feel like we can go outside a little bit, right? And so we just like everybody else. Give us an inch. We try not to take a mile.
Yeah. I totally understand that.
So we just like everybody else right now.
Well, as usual, I'm so excited to have you. I love the work that you do. We've had great testimonies. We've received great reports on the great job that you and your team does. It is phenomenal. I want to throw this out here right now before we even get started. Guys, after you listen to this conversation and you decide to connect with Steven, the finance guy, I'll call him the guru. Make sure you let him know that you heard it here on Melissa Williams, hashtag the evangelist. That's what you want to use to make sure you get my special discount. All right.
Agreed.
All right. So listen, let's dive right into this conversation. Hey, everybody. I'm going to say this again. There are many times that we have dreams and ideas and aspirations to do great things. And sometimes we feel in our culture that we're limited based on our finances. Sure. And many times I too, like everybody else, have not always made the great choices or the best decisions as it relates to my credit, as it relates to budgeting and money management. But today I'm very excited because I believe there are people that are watching us and they don't want to be limited to what their credit report reveals. I believe there are going to be people that are watching us today and you're listening and you have questions about how it is that you can restore your credit, repair your credit, and build your credit. So let's dive right into this conversation, guys. Make sure you type in on the screen where you're watching us from. Go ahead and start typing in your questions. We're going to make sure we answer your questions today. Listen, most of the times you guys tune in for a prophetic word. Listen, and I know that's what you do. You chime in for a prophetic word, but this is prophetic because guess
100%.
what? The Lord sometimes wait on you to do something. He sits back and wait for you to make the first step. So I admonish you, don't chime out because I'm not prophesying. I am declaring still favor is going to hit your life through your finances. Steve, let's dive right into this conversation.
Let's do it.
My first question for you is this. We receive a lot of inboxes. We receive a lot of people asking most of the time the same questions. And many of times it's when we're off the air. But I asked you some vital information. I'm so glad that you're always willing to give me information and answers. So the first question is this. Why is the credit score different from Credit Karma and my FICO, FICO? Why is it different?
Okay, so that's probably the number one thing that that people struggle with, right? Because Credit Karma is the free, it's the free app that we all go by, right? You know what I mean? My karma, right? And so what people need to understand really, really quickly is that Credit Karma is not even a credit monitoring site. They are a database company, right? And so they use information and collect data for credit card companies to be able to utilize scores that you can find anywhere, right? My free credit check total, all these other places, they utilize this information to be able to give information to assist credit card companies to know when you qualify and when you don't qualify. So they're an advertising company that collects data, right? And so that's what a lot of people really have no clue, because their scores are so high on Karma, but then when they go to get approved for a car or get refinanced for a loan or a house, or try to buy a house, their scores almost never becomes the same as the original FICO score.
Wow. Okay, so you're saying to me, most of the times TransUnion, Equifax are not always going to match Credit Karma.
No, I'm sorry. No, Equifax and TransUnion are not going to always match the FICO score. So the FICO scoring system, is the system that most banks use to lend, right? So because that's the whole total of history it's a collection of history and accounts that's accumulated to show, are you qualified to do something? And Credit Karma has a very limited history to be able to show. That's why your score is always going to be a little bit higher. So if we have worse history or other things, it's not going to always show on Karma or reflect, because their job is to get your scores high enough for credit card companies to want to pre-approve you, right? Because they get paid off people being pre-approved.
Wow.
And so credit cards pay to advertise on their site, which is why it's free. They want as many people as they can to sign up on Credit Karma, because it's in their best interest, because they get paid for advertising.
Wow, I never knew that.
I know.
I think a lot of people sign up for Credit Karma because it's a budgeted app that you can go to. It's free. But it really doesn't serve us any purpose if they're not giving us the accuracy that we need, correct?
And that's what it's all about, right? It's all about the accuracy, right? I mean, once you reach a certain point to where, like, Credit Karma does a great job of walking you in the door, right? Yeah. Once you're in the door, it doesn't give you the accuracy to, it gives you false accuracies to show you exactly what you're qualified for. And then we go straight to the banks, like, hey, you said I needed a 680, here it go, boom, right?
Wow.
And we flip it and we show that score going up, and and then they pull your credit, and it's nothing like that. It's because the FICO system is made completely different, and the credit scoring system of the FICO is a little bit harder, and it's a little bit more stringent on the qualifications needed to have a quick score. So it's not that much off, but when you're trying to qualify for like certain loans and certain things like that, it's definitely a big difference when you go there and you're shocked that it's not the same.
Why is it important? I have someone that's saying, wow, she didn't know that. I didn't either. That's great information. Right. So my next question is, why is it important to have our credit repair specialist instead of doing it ourselves as it relates to repairing our credit? Because many times people says it's easy. Oh, I can do it myself. But what is the difference from me doing it myself and hiring a credit repair specialist to do it?
Okay, so this is probably the best way I can explain that in theory, right? So what happens is, say you are 100% allowed to go to the courtroom and defend yourself, correct?
Correct.
Right? You can be charged for anything, right? You can be charged for anything you want. You can be charged for stealing, killing, murder, and you are allowed to defend yourself. But is it wise? Is it wise to go into a courtroom, right, and to defend yourself legally without the understanding of of law, right?
Great point.
To be able to put yourself in the best position to win that case. So it's the same thing with credit. You can do it yourself, and I tell people all the time, I'll try it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Try it. And most people who try end up calling me and coming to me anyway, because that's what I specialize in. You know what I mean? Yeah. I can do my own nails, I can do my own hair, we can do whatever we want to do. But it's a reason why you get specialists. And when you're dealing with finance, nails grow back really fast, right? Hair goes back the next week. If you mess your credit up, the trial and error is so much greater and so much more harmful. And so much more time is spent because you end up losing time and money that's stopping you from accomplishing the financial goals that you need to. So getting with a trustworthy financial specialist that you speak to, and they're not talking too fast, right? They're not they're not trying to just sell you something really, really quick. They're trying to teach you education at the exact same time as repairing, right? So it's repairing and rebuilding, as we talk about on here. Right. So it's not always about just collecting your dollars. It's about teaching you. So because a lot of times credit repair companies win because if you come to me and you say, can you fix my credit? Absolutely. But then once I fix it, are you going to go back to the same habits? Are you going to end up coming back to me? And my goal is not to just take your money and keep taking it when your habits have not changed. My goal is to teach you the budgeting, teach you the habits, the correct habits, because what's going to happen is you affect your family once you know this information. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In other words, we're talking about rebuilding credit and repairing credit.
Absolutely.
And I hear someone saying on here that they need help in this area. And I think you said something that's vitally important. We've all made mistakes. We've all, I know in college, we all get those credit cards. I remember when I was in college, I got that richest credit card and I maxed it to the T.
What you buy?
We're not going to talk about all of that. But Riches, the store Riches back then, they knew me by face. That's all I'm going to say. And so we all have experienced this time where we didn't always make the right choices. Sure. And so I love the fact that there is a thin line when it comes to repairing and rebuilding. And I'm really geared to the people on here because I just believe God does things in divine timing. Absolutely. I put God in everything. And I believe if people are tuning in today to this, I believe it's because God wants them to hear. I want to give you a sneak peek on the status change that you're getting ready to experience. And literally it's going to take you doing something yourself. We always talk about the power of faith. And I believe faith and finance goes together because I believe even if I don't have money, I got favor.
100%.
And sometimes if I don't have money, my credit will speak for me. You understand what I'm saying? So my question is, there's someone on here that's watching and she says, I'm getting ready to cancel Credit Karma. Listen, Just don't let them know you
Well,
heard it
listen,
here.
no, look at you, right? Exactly. No,
Listen,
so listen, I wouldn't say, if you don't, I wouldn't say cancel. I mean, I do have other credit monitoring sites that I do suggest that work out better for sure.
what are those? What are those
Okay,
sites? Tell
okay.
us that. What are those sites?
The best one that I've experienced is Experian.com. That's going to give you your up-to-date FICO score.
Yeah,
Credit, if you are budgeting, if you are budget tight, then Credit Karma is the way to go. You just have to understand that you can't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, it's not going to be completely lying. You know what I mean? It's just
yeah,
not going to be completely accurate. You know what I mean? In
yeah,
the sense of the specific things that you need. So it's just not 100% reliable, right? Remember,
got it.
their goal is to make money. So as long as we understand who we dealing with, as long as we understand how to play the game, we'll
Yeah,
win. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. So let's ask this next question because someone typed in their question and they wanted to know
Let's do it.
why is it that they have a 600 and I believe she said 660 credit score, but she can't. There's her question. She says, I have a 600 credit score, but still can't get approved for anything. Why? Now, that is a broad question,
It's a
and we can
very broad
only deal with
question.
the part of the credit that we know, which is, I'm sure you're going to talk about, but there
Right.
could be several reasons to that. But just in case, anything as it relates to repairing and building. Can you tap into that question for me?
I can tap into it. If okay, so it all depends on if she was going by what she saw on Credit Karma. So that can relate right to Credit Karma, right?
Yeah.
To where you say, hey, I was on my Credit Karma and I had a 660. Every time I tried to get approved, I get denied. So that's a direct correlation to what I was speaking about, what Credit Karma does, to where it gives you false securities more so than anything, right?
Wow.
And so, however, there are other instances, if depending on what you're applying for, there are certain companies like, and I'm gonna tell you right now, 660 is probably the minimum score right now, and it used to be like right in the middle to where, because it used to be 750, right? So
Yeah.
now the scores are 850. So you got to think 660 is like 200 points down from the lowest, you know what I'm saying, from the highest score.
Wow.
So
Wow.
now 660 is not really, it's not really known for, for being that good anymore. You're really at the bottom line of approaching good credit. You know what I mean? As
Wow.
far as the credit system is going, and I know that I know how that young lady feels, because I was, you fight so hard to get to a 660, and you
Yeah.
like, now I'm here, and it feels like they're pushing back the finish line on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And so I'm not, I don't know specifically what she's applied for and didn't get approved for, but just to let her know that there is more ways to go in the credit world, and just to keep climbing. And once she hits that 700, her her life will be a little bit better for sure.
Yeah, I'll tell everyone the most important thing as relates to building your credit is be consistent and don't stop.
Absolutely.
Like everybody has to start somewhere, which brings me to my next question. Why is this so important? We're literally in the middle of a pandemic, and some call it a famine, but I've been prophetically speaking that we're going to have favor in famine. That's what I'm declaring. We're going to prosper in the pandemic. But
Sure.
also there's a twist to that. There are some things in order for us to prosper that we as ourselves have to take responsibility for. Why is
1000%.
it important that we have our credit score checked, repaired, and built in the middle of a pandemic?
So okay, so I'll start this off, and I just thought about it, like, it's for us, especially as African Americans, is just the reality is the time is up, right? You know what I mean? The time is
Yeah.
up all the way around, right? So it's time for us to, it's time for the police to leave us alone. We're educated, we're ready to fight. We're not gonna stop. Our financing, you know what I mean? So everything, our funding, our financing, we want it all. We want it all now.
Yeah.
And so one of the things is, once we fight for it, just like you said, is having the information to deliver after after we obtain it, right? What are we
Yeah.
going to do with it? So
Yeah.
that's, I believe, is my role right now, is to teach people how to deliver off the information once they receive it. So to your point, now we're right in the middle of COVID, and so many things are shifting and changing. Banks are literally, and this goes back to the young lady with the 660, banks are literally not approving anybody, right? Um, Unless you are literally about a 670, 680 for certain things, home loans, financing, any type of small business loans. Because what happens is the banks have defaulted. A lot of companies, I mean, and we know this, like a lot of companies lost their businesses. They've loans that were out there previously, they've defaulted on. People who had home loans are foreclosing right now, left and right. People who had car notes can't afford the cars. That's money out there that's being lost left and right. So banks are losing. Now, here's the thing: the government has placed on the banks that any new loan that's come about, they have to be extremely trustworthy, right? So the risk factor is extremely short. You know what I mean? They have a short lease on risk right now. So you have to be in a amazing place credit wise to be approved for even the smallest things that we did not used to have those issues with, right? Basic credit can be able to get certain things. Now you have to have great credit because banks are not being governed and they're not being insured by the federal government anymore unless the profile is a solid credit score.
So is it fair to say we as believers, because I understand me being a faith walker myself, me being raised in the church, and most of my audience is not always the church, but I am more geared to the body of Christ and the church, even though I am in the marketplace as well. But I'm really, I think it was, I'm everywhere. Okay. My one of my purposes and my goals for having this conversation is because I don't want us as a people to get stuck in thinking and believing that God is going to do everything for us.
Sure.
You know, I have people that I know and they're, you know, literally before the pandemic, they're saying, I'm just waiting on God. I'm just waiting on God. And I'm saying, but what are you doing to help God?
Mm-hmm.
You know, absolutely. And I think that's a conversation we don't like to have. We like to declare I'm highly favored and I'm blessed, but you can't get a car and you're still, you understand where I'm going here with this. And so, so the reason I wanted to have this conversation, because I believe that God's plan is to prosper us. Absolutely. But I also believe it is his desire that we do something for him to bless. 100%. And so when you're talking about rebuilding and repairing credit, your company also does loans and stuff. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay. So I wanted to make sure we threw that out there. Go ahead.
A little bit. No, for sure. So we want to make sure that we give opportunities to people who do have excellent credit. And so, but don't necessarily have all the business, all the documents, the taxes. So I do have what's called no doc loans, in which you if you have a certain score, 650 or better across the board, a tri-merge score, you could qualify from anywhere between 25,000 and about 150,000. For sure. So I mean,
it's a blessing for people right now, though.
100%, right? Yeah. So you know, and so they don't come around often, the no doc loans and you know, and the lenders and stuff like that. But when it does, then we definitely can help the right person that this loan makes sense for.
So people that are watching us right now, I want you to go ahead and start typing in your questions, because we're trying to give you all the vital information that we believe that you need. But just in case we're not diving into something that you want to know about, go ahead and type that question on the screen. We're going to do the best of our ability to answer that question for you. Steve, the guru, the finance guy is what I like to call you. Let's go into another question. What is actually considered as a good credit score?
So we touched on it a little bit. So I would always say anything over a 650 is where we want to be, right? Anything under it, I need to be getting a phone call ASAP. You know what I mean? So I need to be getting a phone call with hashtags evangelists all through my DMs and everything right now. Because we're just not like I said, and it feels like the goalposts has been extended, right? And I hate to say this, but we're in what's called a FICO 8. So the FICO 8 is kind of the highest standard of a score um, of the lending that we're at now. FICO 10 is getting ready to come out. FICO 10 is another standard, is an even higher standard that they're going to go by because of coronavirus. They're going to go by to determine if our score is okay. So there are certain factors that people might see their score drops all over because they're changing the standard now. They're, again, just like I said, they're moving the goalposts further.
Wow.
And so we need to. So if like I said, if you are not at a 650 at least, then we need to talk. We need to figure it out. We have to get you there. We have to build. We have to do whatever we have to do, repair or rebuild or both.
Okay.
And the investment is now for sure.
So there are some people that are watching us and maybe people that are tuning in and watch the replay. What I would like everyone to do at this time is to go ahead and share and tag this. Make sure you're sharing, commenting someone's name in the comment section, just in case they are not able to tune in now, but they can catch the replay later. My question to you is this. There are some people that have filed Chapter 7 in bankruptcy, and we know those are two different entities.
Sure.
How can bankruptcy be removed off a person's credit report?
Okay, so that's a amazing question. So it's probably the number one question I get. So so bankruptcies are extremely important. Are they harmful? Yes, they are. And I'll raise my hand. I did it in 2012, and they are currently not on my report. So what people need to know is that there is an agency called LexisNexis. There's a fourth agency called LexisNexis, and so LexisNexis. So LexisNexis holds all of our public information, right? Our taxes and all of our public information, and they're the ones that send that information off when people are researching if you have a bankruptcy or not. So they're the ones that verify. So all the bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, they get their information from LexisNexis. They're the furnisher that holds all of our public information. So when you're trying to get a bankruptcy off, what people don't know is that the company that you dispute and you go for first, and this is probably this is great information right here. The company that you dispute first is LexisNexis, right? And so you have to go through them before you go through the bureaus. So the trick is to go through LexisNexis, and you have to order your report from LexisNexis. LexisNexis is not as seasoned as the other bureaus because they're not used to people even knowing about them. So it's probably going to take about 2 or 3 weeks before you get your report back. Once you get your report back, then you have to go to them and say, hey, you have to file a dispute claim, just like you would with TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. You have to file a dispute with LexisNexis and then get the results from LexisNexis first. So before you get anything removed from your regular record, you have to go through LexisNexis first and get your public, and that goes for any type of tax liens or anything like that. Any type of public record, LexisNexis is it for sure. So
this is why it is so vitally important that we seek out the specialist.
The average person wouldn't know that at all.
Yeah, this is why it's so important that those that are listening today, if you have questions or concerns as relates to repairing your credit or building your credit, I know a lot of people say you can do it yourself, but I'm telling you, as for me, patience, I don't have time and patience to just keep sending things to the credit bureaus like LexisNexis. I would have known not to do that. So that is vital information. Thank you, Alistair Edwards, for saying great information. We appreciate you for logging in and tuning in today. So a lot of people are saying, why is it important that we hire a specialist? Tamika says, I'm calling him ASAP. Thanks, Tamika. Make sure you use hashtag the evangelist. Okay. How tedious. I mean, it's so tedious to listen to you say we have to do X, Y, and Z. I think that's so important because some of us don't want to get it wrong again.
It's a two-way street, right? So Yeah, absolutely right. Right. Some of us don't want to get it wrong again, but then some of us want it to happen really, really fast. Right. I mean, they want us to work miracles too on the flip side. So it's like it's either they're going to do it and they're going to do it right or wrong, or whoever I pay to do it, they better do it
Yeah.
perfectly. Right.
Yeah.
And so what happens is, what I tell people all the time is that, I'm a genius because I can fix what you did in 15 years in almost 1 year.
Wow.
That would make me amazing, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if when I put it in context, that type of context, that people like, listen, if you messed your credit up for 10 years, right? Give me a solid 6 months. All right. If you
A
can give me a
solid six
solid six,
months.
if you give me a solid six, right? Just like you said, of exercising patience with a specialist who knows what they're doing,
Yeah.
then we're good, right? So the one thing that we do as a specialist is that I want people to really dive into is I give people what's called an action plan, right? And so action
I
plan,
like your action plans.
action, 100%. So an action plan 100 like dives into your individual circumstance and your
Right.
individual situation and tells you what you need to do to improve your credit. So it's not a set of general actions. It's your action plan that tells you, hey, I need you to pay this down to this amount. I need you to increase this. I need you to download this. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. And we're going to do this on our end. So what I try to do is bring two worlds together to where you have accountable and tangible actions that can lead to to your success. So that way every day you're moving towards something. You're not just sitting around waiting on me. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. And one thing I myself use you personally, and I always tell the people that follow me, I'm never going to bring them any information or any person on my platform that I don't trust. Number one, and I don't believe in the quality of their expertise.
Sure,
And
sure,
so I
sure.
remember when you and I were talking about repairing my credit, and I'm not ashamed to say that, but in order to repair my credit, you gave me some action steps that I needed to take myself. And so I'm telling everybody that's listening, he's no joke. Literally, I started to see change immediately, but I had to do my part as well as trusting him to do his part. And I'm telling you, I've had testimonies from people that have chimed in previously from our other lives and how their credit is already changing. And I just say thank you. Thank
No, it's
you.
all good. It's all good.
Because sometimes the truth is, sometimes we don't trust our Black businesses.
For sure.
The same thing that you do for us as a Black African American CEO of your own business, it's the same thing that our other people, Caucasian, are doing the same. But
Absolutely.
I really believe in supporting Black business, and especially right now with everything that's going on. So I'm admonishing everyone that's listening to me right now, and those that will watch the replay, if you are interested, just even interested, and we may not even be covering the things that you have concerns about today, but if you're interested in rebuilding your credit, I'm telling you, make sure you contact Steve today. He's open. I have a testimonial right here in the comment sections. Tawana Moore said, Tamika, I called him as soon as the live was over the last time and he was on.
She did.
Thank you, Tawana, for that. Thank you, Tawana, for that. So right now, while people are asking, how can we contact you? I know my assistant, she's listening. She's in the studio right now. Can you please give us the number that they can call?
Absolutely. So 770-568-4339. So yeah, so that's the work number. That's you can call that. I answer it personally. 770-568-4339. So yes, Steve, the finance guy, is so much better to shoot me a text. But
Okay.
yeah. Shoot me a text and I got you. I always get back to you.
I have a question right now. I have a lot of single mothers that are my followers. They're my friends. They're my sisters. And I cater to what I call my good girlfriends. And so as a mother, my concern is always to have my children prepared for success. Yes. Now, what if we have children right now who don't have a job, but maybe they're in high school, maybe they're in college? What is it that we can do as parents to help build their credit even before they understand the importance of their credit? Let me give you something. My friend Sally, her son, who's 16, already has a 900. He's 16. And
Mm-hmm.
I personally know what she did to help establish his credit even before he understood what credit was for. And I know you shared this information last time. What is it that we can do as parents to build our children's credit for generational wealth?
Sure. So there are two things, right? I'm gonna give you two things. One, I'm gonna give you two things for two types of people, because I know the last time. So the authorized user method is a extraordinary method that's like the cheat code, the ultimate cheat code, to where if you do have good credit and a really good credit card, you could add your kids on there, and their credit will grow and build, and that history will grow and build as you grow and build. And so if you already have existing, they're going to assume the entire amount of history. But the key point of that is they never get the card. So you're pretty much setting them up to come out of high school at 18 to already have the credit already established. They already have the report is already established. So instead of when and it's no, like I said, it's no shade on my parents, but when I got out of high school, I think I had a cable bill in my name. I was already in collections for a few things. And so, but here's the thing though. This is the thing that we also can do, that this is just another trick. So when they're 18 and they're in college, especially when they're in college, and say the parents don't necessarily have the best credit, so they can offer to authorize user, because I don't even have good credit, right?
Yeah.
This is what you can do for your kid. So kids can always take out loans at school, always to take out student loans, right? So and normally when we take out the loan, or we get the extra money, what we do, we usually just spend it, right? We'll go, the kid will go out and they'll spend it. So what you can do is you can actually take out a student loan, put it in another account, right? This is an insane trick. You can put it in another account, and then you can make the payments come out of that account, and you can pay back the loan with the loan, right?
Wow.
So and the kid don't have nothing to do with it. So you can take out $5,000, put it in a savings account, and then use that loan to pay off the payments of the loan. So what's going to happen is, for the 4 years, every time for the 4, and you can do that as many times as you want. When they come out, they're going to have a history of 4 years of paying back and paying off loans, right? From start to finish. And you didn't have to use none of your money. You didn't have to use none of your credit. You didn't have to use anything. That is probably the easiest trick, that if you are a parent and you don't want to, and you don't have the credit, you don't have the the credit card to, you want to do it, but you don't have to. Your kid can take out a loan. It's a very simple trick, and it works.
Right. So in establishing generational wealth for our children, African Americans, is some tricks to the trade that we necessarily don't always know.
Absolutely.
And I've heard this to be said all the time: what you don't know can hurt you, but that's not true.
Right.
A lot of things that you don't know can hurt you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, it can hurt you. Yeah, it can stunt you. And so, number one, you've already said the first thing that we can do is the authorized user method. And that is, parents, we can actually, if we have established credit or credit cards, we can add our child's name to that credit card. And it's as if the child has the card, but it is establishing credit for them. Did I hear you right?
Absolutely.
All right. Number two, you said that we can take out a student loan, and as we put it in that bank, we pay on it as it's still in there, and the child never touches it. And it's also establishing their credit.
It's building history, right? Absolutely. And the number one thing about having great credit, more than anything, is having great history. So, you're establishing trust. And so the easiest way to do that is to pay off the loan with the same loan. So all you just do not touch the money.
Wow. Don't touch it.
Leave
it in there.
The kids, I know
Macy's may have a sale.
75%.
Don't buy. Listen.
Nothing.
Don't touch it. So, guys, listen, at this point in time, I'm so excited you guys are still tuned in to us. Listen, one more time, I want you to share and tag this. Type in someone's name in the bottom of the screen. We do believe in the power of faith. We believe that God is able, and we believe in miracles.
Yes.
But also, sometimes the mess that we've made, God says the miracle is in your hand. And it's just some things we've got to do. I want you guys to understand what we're talking about today. I hate to say it, but we don't really like great teaching sometimes because it causes us to be disciplined and it holds us accountable. And I think we're in a season right now that if we want to do great things, the Bible says that he's going to allow us to have great exploits. He said, greater work shall we do. Sometimes the greater comes to us being disciplined. Sometimes the greater comes from us from being good stewards of what we already have. So it is really going to take for us really diving into the necessities that God has placed before us. And I believe hiring a specialist to repair and rebuild is going to be the number one answer outside of walking by faith, not by sight, trusting God. Yes. But I believe there's a miracle that God wants to entrust us as far as being a good student and holding ourselves accountable. Listen, I want you guys to type in your questions. We're going to give him a few moments to answer your questions, whatever questions you may have as it relates to your credit score, revolving credit, rebuilding credit, Chapter 7, bankruptcy. What questions do you have right now? Because watch this, you don't always get the opportunity to have a one-on-one conversation with someone as busy as him that knows strategies as he does.
No.
I'm telling you, it's just not all the time that you have this opportunity. So please take advantage of this moment, even those that are watching the replay. If you're watching the replay, I want you to type in your questions. We're still going to go back and see this after the show is over, but I want to make sure we answer your questions. What questions do you have? Hey, Deshaun, I see you, Lady Moore. Great to see you, Stephanie. I see you chiming in. Thank you so much. Tamika, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. So Tamika says, how hard is it to remove Chapter 13 bankruptcy? Again, Tamika said, how hard is it to remove Chapter 13 bankruptcy?
It's easy. It's easy. No, I'm kidding. So one of the things that I pride myself on is being honest, right? It is difficult. It is possible, but it is difficult because what you're dealing with is not like you are removing a old Sprint bill, right? You know what I mean? You are going after a public record, that a document that you agreed, that you paid the attorney, and and you agreed to do it. Is it possible? Yes, it is. So you just have to be dedicated to getting with a credit specialist who, if they don't say nothing about LexisNexis, they don't know what they're talking about. All right, so
everybody listen. He's giving you a vital point. If they don't mention
LexisNexis, they don't know what they're talking about.
They don't know what they're talking about.
Because here's the thing, is that if it's not removed from LexisNexis, it has a opportunity for it to reappear if they did happen to somehow get it removed from the credit bureaus, right? Because you want it off LexisNexis because LexisNexis is the holder of the public records.
Yeah. Thank you for answering that question. Tamika, please chime in and let me know if you answered that question correctly. Question number 2 is from Stephanie Bryson. Sure. Stephanie says, I have a couple of items in collections. How do I attack these items?
So there are a few ways. If they're older collections, you might need a credit specialist because they're standing on your credit and they're kind of showing negative. They have a negative connotation to them, and it's affecting your score and it's affecting anything you apply for. So you might need a credit specialist for the older ones. If they are newer, what you could do is you can do what's called some companies offer, some collection agencies offer what's called a pay per deletion, right? So that's crucial. So pay per deletion, where you can literally talk to the collection agency and say, hey, I'm agreeing to pay this and settle at this amount if you delete it from my report. And so some collection agencies agree to that because they just want their money, right? And so, however, if you just pay and you don't mention pay per deletion as an option, then they're just going to take your money and go about their business. So what you want to do is you want to mention the pay per deletion option, because what's going to happen is they are going to either agree or say, no, we don't offer it. But if they do agree, then you want to get it on paper and have them, send it to you as a pay per deletion option. And then so once you get it on paper, then go ahead and pay that money, and in the next month it should be deleted.
So what I hear you saying is this: I want to be the interpreter for my audience.
There you go.
Sometimes when the collection bureaus contact some of us, we say, I'm just not going to answer because I don't have the money. I'm not going to respond to the mail that's coming in the mailbox. I'm not going to answer that phone. So are you saying that it's important at least for us to have communication with them, and then mention the fact, listen, I'm in a financial difficulty right now. I'm just going through a little finances, but maybe what's the minimum that I can pay? Can they do that?
If they offer pay per deletion. So I wouldn't mention anything about money until say, hey, do you offer pay per deletions, right? Because what happens is if they don't offer pay per deletions, then I wouldn't even consider paying them. Like I would just call me or another credit specialist and try to get it removed if it's damaging. Now on the flip side is, now this is where it's key. For FICO scores, right? And this is where, like for FICO, because of their scoring system, if your collection is old enough, it may not even be doing any damage to your report. So you may see a collection, and so I can look at a collection and say, this is not really hurting you, right? This is what you need, right? And so you may can just leave it alone, and not, and not have to do, anything to it. So it really all depends on the individual and how old it is, and what I mean, because a lot of times we can remove collections because what happens a lot of times, collections have to be notified. You have to be notified, right, by the creditor and by collection agencies, because collection agencies purchase debt, right? Their job is to purchase debt, and so if they purchase debt without you knowing, that is illegal. And so if by it being illegal, then my job is to remove that account from your credit report, because it is illegal for them to do that. And so 7 times, 8 times out of 10, that's what's going on. These collection agencies are assuming debt without your knowledge, and they're just selling debt to this creditor, these collections. And where a lot of times we look at our report and we say, I didn't even know this was in collections. I didn't even know who this was. I didn't even know who this was, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of take advantage of like I said, the legal arguments, and holding these collection agencies and these financial institutions responsible.
Yeah.
Because they've been taking advantage of us for too many years.
Wow. And that's why it's so important that we reach out to you, because you'll be able to look at it and say, hey, you're focusing on A when really you should be focusing on B. That's why hiring you to be the finance guy is so important. Let's take another question. One question from Stephanie. She says, how old is old as it relates to being in collections? Let me make sure I got that. How old is old as far as collections? I think maybe we've dived into that. If you want to dive into that, you can. Then I'm going to give you another question right after that.
Okay, sure. So anything 5 years or older is considered old, right? It's considered old. I probably wouldn't even touch it if it was 5 years older, because it's not doing the harm. Anything 5 years or closer. I mean, honestly, I like to say 3 to 5 years. So anything after that time is past it. You really don't have to touch it, depending on what the collection is and how much it is. You really don't have to touch it. If it's a medical bill or something like that, I wouldn't bother.
Okay. I hope we answered your question. Stephanie, please chime in and let me know if we took your question and answered it to the best of our ability that satisfied you. All right. Next question. We have a question from Kayla. Kayla says, how long do inquiries stay on your credit report, and do they affect getting finances for a home?
Getting finance for a home? That's a great question. So inquiries stay on for 2 years. Hard inquiries stay on for 2 years. Does it affect it? It depends on how many it is. Anything over like maybe 5 to 10 is just too many inquiries. Try to stay away from car dealerships when you're buying a car and you have bad credit, because they're gonna raise it up to maybe 40 or 50 inquiries like that, because they're looking for a lender who can take you. And so they have to go through it. And meanwhile, you're just sitting outside, waiting on them to come back. And if they're gone for a long time, it's a reason.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
so yes, hard inquiries. If they do damage, you want to stay in, you don't want to have no more than 10 hard inquiries on your credit report. That's like average. Even then, you want to stay right around 5. But they definitely can stop you from being financed, depending on how many you got, for sure. That's a great
Thank you
question.
for answering that. Kayla, thank you for that question. Please chime in and let me know if we answered that question and you understood his answer. The next question is from Tanya. Tanya says, can an old company keep selling your account at the 7-year mark? I believe maybe she's talking about collections.
Yes. She's talking about collections. So at the 7-year mark, technically they can. Is it? I'm sorry. Meaning they can do it. Is it legal? No. Right. You know what I'm saying? So meaning that's where, if you know what you're doing as a credit repair specialist, you use those type of language and whatever, because that's how they keep the collection alive, by selling it right at the end so it can kind of start over. That's why you never never really pay for collections, because every time you pay, it starts the 7 years all over with. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So people don't know that. And so it restarts the clock of maintaining that collection on your report. So it just keeps getting bought and keep getting bought. So is it to answer the question, is it possible? Absolutely. I mean, it happens to us every day. Is it legal? No, it's not.
Wow.
You know, and that's why we go after them pretty hard.
Wow. Thank you for the work that you do. I'm going to say that for everybody. Thank you.
that was a
Stephanie
great
says
question.
that's what happened to her. I'm sorry.
No. That was a great question. That was an excellent question.
Okay. So Stephanie, please let me know if we answered that question for you. Stephanie made a comment and she says, that's what happened to me. My accounts were bought by someone else. Wow. And I never knew that they actually can do that. All right. So Vicky Miles has made a comment. Vicky, this is very long, Vicky, and I love you so much.
Vicky, Lord, Vicky.
Vicky,
Okay, what we got?
I'm going to try to dive into this. Vicky, I don't know if this is a question or a statement. We're gonna come back to this. Yeah, Vicky, I love you. We're gonna come back to this. All right, Vicky, just type in me a short question, and I will try to get to that. In an effort in continuing building credit, do you think? Here's Vicky's question at the bottom. She says, in an effort to continuing building credit, do you think it's wise to bank the $5K and pay it back from an actual loan?
Absolutely. Okay. So I don't need to know. Okay, so I'm gonna try to answer her question without having to read all of that. Yes, that is you can get a loan. A great building credit tool is getting a loan from who you bank with. It's usually called a building credit loan. It's usually called a building credit loan. Most of them have it to where they'll loan you anywhere depending on your credit score and how bad it is, or your relationship with the bank and how long you've been there. Especially if it's like Navy Federal, what is it, credit union. If it's a credit union, then they have a lot more leniency on how much they lend. But if it's more of a commercial bank, you'll probably get between $500, $300, and $500 loan. And so the whole goal with that is to take it and pay it back. But what you would do is you could use the loan and just pay it back with the same loan. Right. And then so as you pay it back, you are 100% building installments. You are creating an installment account, and you are building that credit all day long.
Wow. So I pray that I have shared some great information with you guys today. Hey, Pastor Thurston, good to see you, Stephen. So good to have you logged in.
Sure.
Kayla, thank you so much for joining. So guys, listen, you have been listening to Favor and Finance. And I always say, faith without works is dead. And I believe it is our responsibility to make sure that as a people, as an individual, as a culture, that not only do we walk by faith, but we hold ourselves accountable and responsible to building our credit. Listen, I put the guru's information on the screen, Steve, the finance guy. If you have a question, you have an interest of rebuilding and repairing your credit, I want to make sure that you contact Steve, The number at the bottom of the screen, it is 770-568-4339. We have had great testimonials on how people's credit has been rebuilt, restored, and repaired. And I just believe you got next. I'm going to say that again. I believe you're not next, you are now. But guess what? You got to do something about it. Steve, thank you so much for sharing this time with me today on Finance and Favor.
It was a pleasure. It's love.
Listen, make sure you guys, when you contact Stephen, please make sure that you mention the evangelist for you can get the personal evangelist code. All right. This is something that I love doing. Steve, do you have anything that you would love to share for the people before we get out of here?
Listen, no. This was amazing. I think the people need this. You're doing your works are amazing. It's always a blessing. It's always a pleasure being on here with you. I think we're giving the people exactly what they need. I think my job is to 100% after they give us the opportunity to get the finance and just teaching people what to do with it. So yeah, I'm 100%. I'm all for it. We're in this fight together. Let's get it.
All right. All right, guys. So you have been tuned into Favor and Finance. I say that again, Favor and Finance. They work together. I am believing that your status is getting ready to change. And I prophetically declare that what you do, God is going to breathe on it and it's going to be better. But watch this. Hold yourself accountable. Be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with anybody else, at least tell yourself the truth. There are some things that you need to do so you can get the home that you want, so you can move into the building that you want to move in. Your credit has a lot to do that. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid. We all make mistakes. But listen, this is the time that you do that. So listen, this time, next Friday, join me again with the finance guy, and we'll see you when your credit has been status changed. I love you guys. We'll see you till the next time. Bye-bye.